Hello, this is John.
And Kimberly.
Speak a little louder, Kimberly.
Okay.
Okay, we're talking at the computer here. This is how to can peaches. We just canned some peaches today, and we were going to take some pictures along the process, but then I looked at my computer and I realized that I took pictures last year when we canned peaches.
How
So,
great is that?
how convenient. But I thought we'd do this tonight while it was fresh in our minds. And peaches, canning peaches is something we've been doing for years.
Mm-hmm.
How long? Like 8 years maybe? As long as Rowan's been alive almost.
Yep. Haley was asking that question today about how old Rowan was when he canned peaches with us. And I said we've been doing it since he was 0.
Yeah, exactly. So, and something we love about the peaches, not only are these great, but these also have become a perennial favorite for gifts for the holidays too. It's like giving summer sunshine to your family and friends for in a can for the holidays. So the first thing that you have to do, of course, is get some peaches. Now, you can get any amount, really, and that the amount you get will just depend on, how many what yield you're gonna have. But a couple of big boxes, a big box is, it's about we'll do about a case of 12 canning jars about.
Uh-huh.
That's a quart-sized canning jar. So a couple of big boxes will get you a couple of cases, but that's a rule of thumb. But you always eat some, and it's not a bad idea to get some extra too. But that's about a good rule of thumb for amount to purchase. And what do you want to make sure when you're getting them, Kimberly? Like you can see some of those are a little ripe there, right?
Yeah, so we really want the peaches to be very ripe, to the point of almost overripe, because that will help the skins come off very easily for the canning process, and they'll be nice and sweet.
Okay, and if you do get them a little underripe, you can just let them sit for a little while, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just make sure that they're ripe when you do it, because otherwise you'll learn the hard way. These are ones last year. These peaches. So the one I showed you here was from a roadside produce stand, and these here were from a neighbor's trees in Western Washington. So they didn't look quite as nice, but they sure do taste good, and they make great canned peaches. So if you have uncosmetically pleasing peaches, you can turn them into great canned peaches for sure.
Yep, some of those were the best ones last year.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so the first thing here that we're doing is, I want you to explain it, Kimberly.
Well, we boiled some water and then dropped the peaches into the boiling water for about 30 seconds, and that will help you be able to remove the skins from the peaches.
Okay, so when you're doing that, yeah, just make sure you just a pan like this, right? And you dunk them in 30 seconds, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 30 seconds, and then you lift them out with some tongs. Let's check that out. So there's the tongs there on the lower part of the picture, and the skins just slip right off, right?
Mm-hmm. They should, if they're ripe.
If they're right. So then what are you doing here?
I'm cutting the peaches, so we cut them in half and take the pits out, and then you can leave them just in halves, or you can quarter them to help them fit into the jar well.
Yeah, especially if you have the smaller mouth canning jar, you'll definitely need to quarter them. But the wide mouth jars, you can leave them in half if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there you are cutting them, and we have a couple of bowls out there, and one bowl will be for all the skins in our compost, and the other bowls for our this has our skinned peaches. All right, so another photo here of cutting them. Oh, that's pretty.
Yum.
Yum, I want some now. Actually, I'm looking at almost 2 cases of finished canning jars that we just did tonight over there right now. Let's see. And there's another shot so you can see the compost and all that. Now, on the side, something you're doing, you're doing this while you're doing everything else, right?
Uh-huh.
So which is what? Making the syrup.
Yes, so you need a syrup to pour over the peaches once you have them in the jar. And you make the syrup by putting 1 part honey with 3 parts of water. So I put in a quart of honey and then 3 quarts of water. And then you bring that to a boil and then turn it down to just a simmer and just leave it simmering on the stove until you're ready to pour it over the peaches. So you might even want to put that on to heat up before you start dunking your peaches into the boiling water
Yeah.
and peeling them. So it's ready when you need it.
And if you need more, you just make another batch with the same ratio. And if you don't think you're going to need a quite the finish off, let's say you have a few peaches left or a smaller amount, you don't have to, as long as you have that 3-to-1 ratio. And this is honey we're using. So yeah, and it's easy to measure if you purchase the honey in certain size containers and whatnot. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
And part of why you need the syrup is that if you just canned them in water, then all of the sweetness of the peaches would soak out into the water and they wouldn't taste very good.
Yeah, you'd get peach juice.
Yes, but your peaches would be yucky.
Your peaches would be yucky. And it also is a preservative, right?
Yes.